What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Got an exciting video today, a little different one. So I was sitting there and thinking, I've done the interior, I've done the exterior, I've kind of looked over the car in general. So I wanted to do a video about the pros and cons of having a car like mine. And let me tell you, there's a lot of each, so stay tuned. Now, when I was looking at the pros and cons of the car, there's a lot of things to put into it. Obviously, there's pros of it being a daily driver and all that. There's also some cons, though, because of obvious reasons, of the same factor that it is a daily driver and not a sports car or a muscle car, something like that. So I wanted to put that in the list, show you guys, tell you guys about it, and how I feel about each of them. But first, before I do get into the pros and cons, I gotta wash this thing. I mean, look at these spots. Kind of hard to see, but yes, those rims are a little dirty in there. Definitely time to get them washed. But yes, as you can see, I need to get it washed. So give me a few minutes to wash it, and then we'll get back to the good part. Trust me. Now, while the water's filling, I will say this thing is harder to wash than it has been in previous years and times, especially with this the wing that I added to the channel a while ago into the car. You know, getting under it is kind of annoying, but it's worth it, I guess, because it looks obviously pretty darn good, so I can't complain. Damaging those kicker stickers. This thing's been a lot to me. After 1,200 miles of driving, I gotta get these bug marks out. They are so deep in here. You never realize how dirty under the plates are until you take them off, and yeah, it was dirty. Not only is the wing hard to wash, but possibly even harder to dry. Although the car's done, the rims aren't. You gotta get those first. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she's done. Look at her. Looking fly as ever. Looks pretty darn good. So now, like I said, I do want to get into the pros and cons of having this car. Let's start with the good ones. Let's start with the pros. So one of the biggest things, one of the biggest pros of this car is the visibility. Now, when I got the spoiler on the back, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's going to be a little harder to see out of. Might block my view a little bit, but really it doesn't at all. Now, as you can see, that's kind of the back angle right there. Pretty nice though. I mean, you got a lot of room between those seats. And then obviously you can see up here as well, same kind of thing. Like I said, one of the biggest pros to this car is just being able to see, and I mean, you can't even see the spoiler back there, which is also really nice because, like I said, I wouldn't really want to be stuck with that in the way. Now, another huge pro of this car is how easy it is to drive. Really. I mean, it's one of the easiest cars that I've ever driven, and obviously once you get used to a car, it's easy to drive. But some, like SUVs or trucks, might be a little harder, but this thing is just so simple to drive, and that's what I love about it, really. You start out with this nice shifter right here. You have all the controls right in this clump here. Obviously the engine start stops right there. Sorry, it's a little blurry. Easy little gauge cluster there. The automatic lights there. I mean, honestly, everything is at your fingertips, and that's why I really like sedans in general, because they allow you to do that. Now, another huge pro of this car is the gas mileage. You can see here, the last 25 miles, I'm averaging about 32 miles per gallon, and that is on city streets mainly, not even on like interstate or highway. And the best I've had is also 51. 51 a car like this, that's pretty good. I mean, I can't complain. I'm not having to spend a ton on gas either, which is good. And the gas mileage actually brings me into my next pro, which is the gas tank and how much I am paying for gas. So before COVID, before any wars, anything like that, I was paying $20 for a full tank of gas. Now this was granted 2.5 years ago, so there's been some time, but still I was paying very minimal for gas in a full tank when gas prices were about $2. Now I know what you're saying, yes, bring it back to reality, we don't live in those times anymore. Yes, I know that. Gas prices around here are about $4.40 to $4.50. I'm still paying about $40 to $35 to $40 for a full tank of gas, which is really good because I know people that are paying $60, $80, $100 for a full tank of gas. So I can't complain. I'm paying less than most people. And this thing still has a 350 mile range at its peak, which is very good. Now bringing it back outside, the last pro I have for you is the amount of space in this car. Now in terms of space, when I got the subwoofer, I was very concerned because I carry a lot of stuff around in my car. I wanted to make sure there was room for everything, but I mean, look at this. You got the subwoofer here, obviously, don't mind the tool chest. But look at all this room, you got a good 2 feet of storage there, and it's pretty high up. So honestly, that's another huge pro for me, is that I can still carry stuff around in this car, being that daily driver car, and I have enough room for that stuff, which is really awesome. And speaking of it being a daily driver, now it's time for the cons of this beautiful beast. Now I will be honest, a lot of the cons to this car are very minimal, and I don't really care about them too much. There's just a few that, you know, I wish that were a little different, or that I didn't have, or maybe did have. Now let's start with the most obvious one. As a daily driver that this car is, yes, it's not very fast, not a lot of horsepower. It gets you around, but for someone who craves fast driving like me, you know, it's missing a little bit of that. I will say though that this car is powered by a 1.5 liter turbocharged i4 Ecotec Chevrolet engine, pushing out 160 horses. But like I said, I could maybe do a few upgrades to this, but it's not a car that you can swap an engine for or anything like that. That's ridiculous because this car is just not made for that. So yeah, another pretty decent con of this car is that it is in fact a used car with a lot of miles on it before I actually got it. I got this car with 50,000 miles, 53,000 miles on it. Like I said, I've put on about 33,000 at this point. Along with that comes a lot of stuff though. When I got this car, we had to have it fully inspected, go through everything, change everything out, figure all that stuff out. There's also a lot of like dings, nicks, scratches on it. They were here before me, so that also makes it a little hard to clean, because then when you clean it, you know, you see all the scratches. Now if I wanted to show you every single scratch and nick on this car, we would be here for an hour-long video. I don't think anyone wants to do that. So just take my word for it that there are a ton of scratches on here, and I'm not really going to pay the money to have them buffed out. So they're signs of age, right? You know, people can say that there's scratches, or you can say that it's been through stuff, and it has. Alright, the next con I have for you guys is how cheap the interior is. GM is very well known for making cheap interiors on a lot of their baseline model cars and all that, and the Malibu is unfortunately no exception. Now in the middle you have this cool looking stuff right here. It kind of looks like carbon. Not really, but it's really cheap. And then obviously you have all these controls that are just this cheap plastic. You got this little chrome around the outside that attempts to make it look good. And you know, you got the controls up here that are pretty standard. Obviously the steering wheel controls, same idea. Nothing too great, so it's definitely a con, but you know, obviously something I can live with. Now the next con I have for you is just how dirty this car gets, being a daily driver car. You know, I noticed especially in the winter time that this thing gets really dirty with the salt and the snow coming in. So it definitely makes it annoying to clean out. I'll just show you guys, here's some marks kind of from the winter. Hard to see them, but it's kind of right here. Those are like salt marks. There's a little bit on the speakers right here too. It's just, again, one of those things where you can't really get it out, and because of how dirty it actually gets, you know, it's hard to clean out all the time too, because, you know, I want the outside to look good, not necessarily the inside. I will also say, look at this dashboard and the nasty dirt here. I gotta clean that off. Now the last con I have for you guys in this awkward position is the exhaust on this car. Obviously it's not going to sound that great, but the other thing I don't like is that it's not dual. You know, dual exhaust would be really cool. You can kind of see it here. It just obviously runs through the bottom of the car. You know, pretty boring and annoying, and yeah. I don't really know if I want to, you know, necessarily redo it or something like that too, so that's the problem too. But anyway guys, that is it for the pros and cons of this car. Again, the cons are very simple, things I can live with, stuff like that. I just wanted to make, you know, a few little ones point out and all that, things like that. But again, the pros heavily outweigh the cons. This car is amazing, and I love it, and it's perfect for the life I'm living right now. So yeah, can't complain. But anyway, if you guys have any other pros and cons of Malibus, let me know in the comments below. I will look at those and yeah, see if I've noticed any of them in mine. As always though, if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you. Appreciate that very much. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment. Again, if there's any other Malibu things that you've noticed that you like or don't like. Next video should be very fun. We're getting a friend filming with their car too, so that should be a very fun time. Anyways though, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Enjoy life. Peace till next time.